Decoded.
Welcome, curious minds, to Book Decoded. Ever feel like you're maybe wandering a bit, trying to figure out what you're really supposed to be doing?
That feeling is pretty common, I think. And today we're looking at a book that tries to offer, well, maybe not a map, but definitely a compass.
Exactly. We're exploring Becoming You by Suzy Welch. It's based on, 15 years of research and teaching?
Yeah, a solid chunk of time.
Yeah.
And she's really distilled those experiences into this framework.
What I found really compelling is that it's not just another book chasing, happiness. It goes deeper.
Right. It's about uncovering your authentic purpose, finding that way to truly, become you. Less about the emotion, more about the state of being.
So for you listening, our goal today is pretty straightforward. We want to unpack some of the core ideas from Becoming You.
Give you some actionable thoughts, maybe spark some insights about your own path.
Okay, so let's get into it. First off, this idea of looking beyond just happiness. Suzy Welch brings in that amazing Mary Oliver quote.
Oh yeah, tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? It just stops you in your tracks, doesn't it?
It really does. It shifts the focus from just feeling good to, doing something meaningful, something aligned.
And the book argues that real fulfillment, that lasting satisfaction, comes from that alignment. Finding what you're genuinely meant to do. Happiness might follow, sure, but it's the alignment that's key.
Finding your fit. And she has a term for this, right? The Area of Transcendence, AOT.
That's the one, the AOT. Think of it as like a Venn diagram. It's where three crucial things overlap.
Okay, what are the three?
So first, your core values. What genuinely matters most to you, deep down. Second, your aptitudes, your natural talents, the things you're just inherently good at.
Okay, values, aptitudes, and the third.
The third is economically viable interests, or EVI.
Oh.
Basically, finding work or pursuits that sustain you emotionally, financially, ideally both. It needs to be practical in the real world.
Right, so it's not just about talent or passion in a vacuum. It has to connect somehow.
Exactly. And she uses this really vivid example, the drummer from the band Disturbed.
Oh yeah, playing The Sound of Silence. She says, watch his face.
Yes. And that look, that complete absorption almost, rapturous state, that's someone smack dab in their AOT. Everything's firing together, values, talent, engagement.
That feeling of being totally in the zone makes sense. But finding that AOT,
Yeah,
the book is clear. It's not always like a walk in the park.
definitely not. Welch is upfront that it takes real self-examination. You can be uncomfortable, maybe even hurt a little, digging deep like that.
And she shares stories to illustrate this. Let's talk about Tachi. He was heading towards banking.
Yeah, largely because of, parental expectations. A very traditional path.
But his actual core values were totally different, weren't they?
Completely. He valued creative self-expression, excitement. His AOT, his sort of true north, turned out to be something like to be a part of the creative process of making clothes that make women possible not to look at.
Wow, that's quite a shift from banking.
Huge shift. And you see the conflict, the pull towards fashion design versus the security, the signing bonus of the finance job.
Yeah.
Plus, potential family issues.
Yeah, that's real. Then there's Anna's story, which is interesting in a different way. She felt constantly torn, right?
Yeah, like she couldn't be a good mom and good at her demanding job. That feeling of compromise, of being kind of alone in it all.
And the surprising part was her AOT.
Was exactly what I'm doing now. It wasn't about changing careers.
So what changed?
Her perspective. The process helped her identify and, crucially, accept her authentic values. Things like wealth, independence, enjoying being a CEO, even the fancy vacations in her BMW, they were genuinely part of her picture.
So it was about making peace with her life, realizing it did align once she was honest about her values.
Precisely. Sometimes it's about recognition, not revolution.
And I appreciated that Suzy Welch shares her own sort of winding journey, too. It makes it feel more grounded.
Oh, absolutely. She went through journalism, found it wasn't quite right.
Right.
The skepticism maybe didn't fit.
Then business school, which she surprisingly liked.
Yeah, then management consulting. Intellectually stimulating, but still not it. That deep calling, that ineffable feeling, as she put it, finally came with teaching this very material at NYU.
Wanting to help students avoid the wrong turns and detours she experienced, that really ties it all together.
It does. So for you listening, a key takeaway is that finding your purpose is a journey. The book calls it hard, messy, joyful, exhausting, exhilarating. all of those things.
It's not a neat destination you just arrive at, and the framework uses those three pillars we talked about: values, aptitudes, and EVI.
And the book really digs into values. It even mentions the four horsemen of values destruction.
Okay, intriguing name. What are those, briefly?
They're basically these common, emotionally driven reasons why people don't live according to their core values, things that derail us. Part 1 of the book goes deep into those.
Sounds important to be aware of. She also offers a tool for identifying values.
Yes, a values identification rubric. It lays out 15 core human values on a spectrum, helping you create your own kind of values DNA profile. It shows who you are now, maybe who you aspire to be.
That sounds like a practical way to get clarity.
It is. And, with the job market changing so fast, some might ask, why bother trying to figure out a calling?
That's a fair question.
But the book suggests that understanding your fundamental values and aptitudes gives you an internal compass, which is maybe more valuable when the external landscape keeps shifting.
That makes sense. It gives you something solid to navigate with.
And it's not all heavy stuff. There are exercises, tests. Some are even described as fun, like a version of the Proust questionnaire.
Ah, okay. A bit of lighter exploration, too.
Yeah, and the structure uses stories, Tony for values, Chloe for aptitudes, Olivia for EVI, weaving them through the sections, which really helps make the concept stick.
I liked that. And there was one exercise in the appendix. Whose life do you want? Anyway, tell us about that one quickly.
Oh, right. That's a clever way to uncover your own values. You list people whose lives you admire, but then you have to pinpoint specifically what it is you admire about them.
Like the example of James admiring certain writers.
Exactly. He admired Ian McEwan, Martin Amis, and realized it wasn't just being a writer, it was the focus on ideas and writing all the time and being taken seriously. Those pointed to his deeper values.
Digging beneath the surface admiration. Clever. Okay, so wrapping up.
In a nutshell, becoming you gives you this really thoughtful framework, values, aptitudes, interests, to understand your authentic purpose. It's about aligning who you are with what you do.
It's a tool, a methodology for that ongoing process of self-discovery.
Definitely ongoing, not a one-and-done thing.
So here's a final thought for you to chew on, maybe connect back to that Mary Oliver quote. What is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Think about that now, but through this lens of the AOT. What's just one small thing, one tiny step maybe, you could take today or this week to explore one of those areas, your values, your aptitudes, your interests, just a little bit more?
That's a great question to ponder.
Mm-hmm.
And becoming you really serves as a powerful invitation to start or continue with that exploration. It's a journey, after all.